Hello, this is the RPG Pundit, the final boss and internet shitlords. And here's Meatball for you guys. Today, I'm going to bring up something that has come out recently on social media that I think needs to be addressed. And never mind my books over there. I'm talking about something in this book here, which is Tonisborg, which Meatball has immediately decided to sit on. It's one of her favorite books, mostly for sitting. And it's also one of my favorite books because it's, an old school mega dungeon. It's not a fake old school. This is like real old school. This is one of the original D&D dungeons. I did a whole video reviewing Tonisborg. So if you haven't seen that, you can later check out in my reviews playlist. You'll find it. So I'm the Lost Dungeon of Tonisborg. Now, among old school dungeons, my groups, they aren't always like the most automatically favorable to big dungeon crawls, right? That's something that they have to be really in a special mood to play, right? A lot of my kind of groups will prefer stuff like investigative adventures, like from the old school Companion 2, where I've got like 25 different, adventures with sinister cults and monsters and things like that, in cities and small towns and some dungeons, but there's a couple of dungeons in the old school Companion 2, one of which is a very clever little tower, and the other one is a very clever little kind of catacomb. But, those are little dungeons. I've never done, I probably never will do, a mega dungeon. In terms of mega dungeons, Tonisborg, along with Barrow Maze, which is an OSR product, but Tonisborg is like the original. It's the original dungeon, basically, that the Blackmoor crew used, right? It's like it was hugely influential to early D&D. And anyways, I've reviewed this product already, so I'm not going to go into much. What the hell are you doing? Look at this. Look at this. She's standing halfway between the kitchen counter and the range. She's like, I think, are you stuck? Meatball. Okay, come on, get serious here, cat. Yeah, well, do whatever you want, but that was pretty funny, man. All right. So the thing about this is that the reason I'm bringing up Tonisborg is because just recently, some people on social media have been claiming that Tonisborg is woke, right? This product, Tonisborg itself is a dungeon from like 1973. It's like older than D&D itself, right? But that's not the part that they're claiming is woke. They are claiming that an introduction that I'm trying to find here, how to use this book. No, where is that? It must be before this. I must have missed it. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So that this preface is proof that Tonisborg and its organizer Griff Morgan, it is Griff Morgan, isn't it? Yeah, Griffith Morgan is woke, and this has shown up on certain YouTube channels of dubious people, and then it's been spread around Twitter, and like, look, okay, here's what it says. It says respecting one's boundaries and expectations. Okay, and they claim that what this is saying, that what this article is here, this little introduction is saying, is like, oh, it's like, because like at first glance, here's the thing. I've got the original first printing of this product. I thought when I first saw this on video, and I thought, oh no, right? Like maybe this is real, right? That's the instinct of almost anyone in the OSR at this point, because wokeness has become so endemic, right? And Griffith Morgan is, a little bit lefty. So it was plausible that like for the second printing, because I reviewed this book, I've read the whole book, I've run the book, right? And I didn't see anything there. So, but I assumed that for the second printing, he might have put in something like, so I thought it was going to be something like these WotC disclaimers, which are very woke, right? Which they put in front of all their TSR products now that say like, danger, alert, this product is racist, sexist, and homophobic, right? You should play it at your own risk. It contains a deeply offensive material, Like the funny thing is, of course, if Wizards really believes that, why are they still selling it? This is complete crap, right? This is like, it's a ridiculous thing to put. If the product is full of evil, toxic masculinity and racism, and you admit it is in the WotC stuff, right? But then you're selling it anyways. That means you are promoting those values, whether you claim to or not. Like, what the hell? But the proof is they don't really believe this. They're doing it in order to virtue signal. And I thought maybe Griff Morgan was doing the same thing. I didn't think it would be that case because, he's a very nice guy. He's we've chatted a lot over time. I couldn't imagine that he would have put something like that. And I said, no, it's the same thing that's in your book. Like, I asked him, right? I asked, all right, is this something in the second printing? No, it's in your book. And so it's this thing here. And the people who are very disingenuously claiming that this is wokeism were trying to claim that this is what Griffith said in the introduction, that he was implying that the Tonisborg dungeon is evil because it's, ancient and racist and misogynist or whatever, or offensive in some way. That is not what this says, right? It says, when role-playing games were first invented and published in 1974, prevailing social views in the world differed significantly from the present. Even before the 70s until the present, the collective awareness and understanding has always been changing and continues to change. Due to freedom movements that open our eyes to injustice worldwide and led us to consider how we can make the world a better place for everyone. RPGs are not immune. It is up to us as individuals to engage with these issues in our games and do the hard work of seeking fairness and compassion. That said, this book contains artifacts that are historic in nature. Maybe they just read the first paragraph and then stopped, right? No attempt has been made to alter the original contained on the game maps, nor has there been any change in the original documents regarding the room and the room descriptions. The intent of the book is to preserve old maps and room keys, as well as you might recreate a game session as close as possible as how it would have been played in 1973, or when Greg Svensson created Tonisborg. Blah, 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 right? So it's important that RPGs derive themes from folklore. While ideas such as having an entirely evil race may seem offensive to some readers, an examination of people's ancient myths will find that concepts of good and evil are not uncommon. Our writing team is following approaches from archaeology and anthropology and bringing that perspective into this manuscript. We feel that one should acknowledge the existence and complexity of these moral conflicts within any mythos, yet also consider, even via something as seemingly benign as an RPG game session, the voices of the ancient past can speak to us if we listen. We hope that you will appreciate the attempt to keep this manuscript as true to the original manner as possible and to preserve this future time in gaming when RPGs are only known to a close-knit group of gamers led by Dave Arneson, blah, 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 blah. At the same time, RPGs are a very social face-to-face experience. It's important to create a dialogue between yourself and your players before you sit down to play, such as to establish boundaries and expectations. If you feel anything contained in these pages to be hateful to yourself or your players, then you have the power to change that for the better. Engage your playgroup and point out the text that may not reflect your contemporary perspectives. Talk about anything your group could find problematic. Then you might even consider getting out a pen and rewriting entire passages reflecting your group's values, right? This is very important. Note these paragraphs here, right? Yes, this is a singular game model, and you may want to fill the book with margin notes if that's precisely how games are blah, 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 treated and how they should be played. He's a little bit rambling. Seriously, get out a pen and make changes. This is a way from the RPG lineage and carry it forward to make it yours. We invite you to alter the pages with your own insights and game notes. Above all things, think of your players first. You're the referee, and you want everyone to have a positive experience when you breathe life into the lost dungeons of Tonisborg. We feel that this game is an enjoyment that everyone should take part in. So, very clearly, what Griff Morgan says here is not this game is evil, racist, homophobic, or something. This dungeon is evil, racist, and homophobic, or whatever, transphobic, whatever. He says that maybe there is something offensive to you here. You know what? If you don't like it, just erase that part and put something else in. Right? He says, and if not, well, we're keeping it the way it is. And you know what about evil, racist? That's a normal thing in myth. Right? This is not an admission of some kind of collective guilt. It's not a recognition of anything except that there may be some people that are sensitive. But if they're sensitive, that is their problem to fix in the absolute spirit of the OSR. The whole spirit of the OSR, that applies to my products too, is that once you have the product, right? If you've got Dark Albion, you don't like the frogmen, get rid of them. You want more frogmen, add more of them. Whatever. Put stuff in the margins if you want to. Same thing with Sword and Caravan. Same thing with the Adventures in the Old School Companion, right? Or any of my other products. You are free to make of it what you will. That is part of the essence of the OSR. The OSR shits on rules as written, right? It shits on text as written. It certainly shits on setting canon or something like that, right? You make of it what you want to, and that's the whole point. And that's essential to the experience of the DM and the players in the group to be able to have the adventure of this. I'm going to tell you what the real motivation for this coming out now is while we're at it, right? It's that there's a certain group, the Bro SR, the anti-Semites and ultra reactionaries, who, when Tonisborg came out, of course, because they're constantly in the search for like the pure Ur D&D, like before Jeffro Johnson decided that AD&D first edition was the perfect and true, faith. I knew him before that. Before that, he was talking endlessly about Appendix N. He didn't give a crap about the rest of the AD&D DMG. He only cared about Appendix N because he thought that in the secret, texts of these pulp adventures that are in Appendix N, he was going to find the pure Ur D&D, the one true, primordial D&D that existed even before it was an idea in Gary Gygax's mind or some shit like that, right? And so to him, Tonisborg still has that same appeal, right? It's a dungeon that existed before D&D was even published. It was a D&D dungeon before there was a D&D, or before there was a published D&D anyways. And so it was really appealing to him. And he really wanted to buddy up to Griffith. And Griffith basically told the entire Bro SR to go screw off, right? Like that he has no interest in them, because they don't represent anything to do with his real experience of old school or with any of the old school people he talked about. He said this over and over again. Like Jethro Johnson has this insane idea about one time. And Griffith Morgan says, look, I asked everybody who was involved in like Arneson's group and Gygax's group. Nobody played that way. It's a complete fraud. It's that whole idea is a complete invention of Jeffro Johnson. And so now the ROSR are angry at Griff. So they want to try to paint him as if he's a rampant SJW that's saying that D&D is bad, So they're putting out their little lapdogs to get on their little YouTube channels and for their brand's sake to go and say, oh, you know what, Tonisborg, it's woke. Don't believe them. It's bullshit, right? Tonisborg is an absolute masterpiece of a product. And that introduction, which is frankly, I don't know if it was even necessary, but it's very clearly a statement saying, you know what, you don't like it, change whatever you want. That's it. It's not saying if you don't like it, well, we're gonna burn it because we'll fundamentally change it. Suddenly, every level of Tonisborg will have strong, independent black women, or something, whatever it is, but black trans women. Sorry, will have whatever it is that you demand that we have. No, it's not that at all. Nor is it a condemnation of anybody, right? It's just that whole claim is absolute nonsense. And I felt I had to say that because it's pretty important to make clear that this is a kind of a slander that's going on, and there's a motive behind that slander. Meatball absolutely loves Tonisborg. Yeah, you love Tonisborg, don't you, Meatball? All right, that's everything for now. However, I'll let you guys know that on Sunday, I am going to be doing a live stream in all likelihood. If it gets canceled, I'll let you know. But otherwise, I'll be letting you know when it's ready. And yeah, you should check it out. I may have a mystery guest and maybe a very important announcement to make. So be sure to keep your eyes open for that live stream. Hit the notification bell on my channel and make sure that it's working right. Because you don't want to miss that. You also don't want to miss all my community posts. I've been putting up a lot of posts of Meatball there. Probably shouldn't film her when she's licking herself. Let's give her a bit of privacy, guys. So you should keep your eyes on that too. And so be sure to check all that out on Sunday. And for now, if you want to support me, share this video, hit like, make sure everybody finds out about this. Don't let the other guys, besmirch the good name of Tonisborg, which is an incredible product. You're never going to, if you like dungeons, you're never going to go wrong with it. And I mean, dungeons are not my top priority, and I thought it was incredible. So there you go. Like not just the dungeon itself, but the whole history section at the beginning, and at the end, the kind of reinventing of the original kind of rules that they would have used to play it with. Like it's got basically an entire very kind of retro old school D&D rule set in it too, right? So it's really good. So yeah, don't let them get away with that, right? So share that, and if you want to support me, be sure to check out my products, right? I don't have any mega dungeons, but I do have like 26 medieval authentic adventures that are based on actual myth and legend. The same thing Griff is saying is badass and really good to have, you know. And there are lots of battles of good versus evil in those adventures. Check out my setting products like Dark Albion or Sword and Caravan. And there'll be more coming in the future too. Check out my RPG rule books like Lion and Dragon, The Invisible College, which is also a setting, I guess, and Star Adventurer, Arrows of Indra too. And if you don't have a lot of money, check out my RPG Pundit Presents series of PDFs where you can get my products for short selection products that have one adventure or supplement or setting stuff or monster stuff or whatever. You'll find all kinds of subjects. There'll be something that you can use in your OSR or D&D gaming, and it only costs like somewhere between 99 cents and $4.99. Okay, so check all that out. The links are all in the description of this video below, where you can get all this stuff. Also, where you can follow me on Twitter and Mewe and the RPG site and everything else. So be sure to look at that description. And check us out on Sunday will be the next time. So currently smoking Lorenzetti Poker plus Argento Natural.